Anyways.
Okay, so time to wrap up.
Yeah, time to wrap up. Do you want to go first or should I go first?
I'll go first. I think you've gone first lately, right?
Yeah, go for it.
So I haven't watched too much because I'm still watching a lot of dramas that you don't get through as fast as movies. I think I talked about I'm gonna start writing about K-drama on our Instagram, but I haven't quite gotten there yet. I think I talked about it last week, but I watched Kimchi Family, which is probably the most makchang. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right, but I like the word, except I mix it up with maknae sometimes. But makchang is like over the top drama. It's amnesia, it's secret siblings, it's, that kind of stuff. Maknae is the youngest in the family. You are the maknae, Theo. But you are not makchang. So Kimchi Family might be the most makchang
Wait,
I've
what did you
seen.
just say about me?
I said that you're the youngest in the family, but
Oh,
you're not super over dramatic.
got it.
Are
I
you
was like,
following me here?
no, apparently not.
You're the maknae.
I got distracted thinking about secret siblings, and I'm like, what if we had a secret sibling? And I'm like, well, we don't really have a secret sibling, but we do have Simon.
The secret. He's
He's
a
not a
half
secret.
sibling.
Well, no, it's more just that he's older, so he's not, and he doesn't live around us.
Yeah, so Kimchi Family may be the most makchang that I've watched, but I loved it. And it's kind of you I can't remember if you did it for the cameras or not, but you've called me a hypocrite lately for liking these things. And I
You
think
really are upset that I called you a hypocrite.
no,
Like you
I'm
keep
not.
bringing it up.
But it makes me think, it's like, there are certain circumstances under which you learn more about people than like normal circumstances, right? Like,
Right.
I mean, that's fiction, right? Put someone in hot water and see how they react, and that'll tell you more about them than like watching them eat lunch, right? Like,
Right.
so I think this is really teaching me how little I care about plot. I don't care about plot. I'm here for the characters. And so a plot can serve me up, like, there are still certain plot things, like amnesia is part of Makchang, and I do not care for amnesia very much. I've seen exactly one that had any amnesia in it, and I did not care for that part of it at all. I liked other parts of that show. It's not one of my favorites in general, though. But like Kimchi Family just like serves up everything to a degree, and I don't care because I'm like so into the characters and so into seeing how they work and interact with one another, that I'm here for mom to teach me lessons about the meaning of life through kimchi, and I am fine with it. Like, it's just a lot. Like, I rewatched Healer, which is an interesting one because it didn't do well in Korea, but it like did well in the rest of Asia. Um, and I don't understand what's happening. The bad guy makes no sense to me. But I'm not watching K drama to find out the nature of evil or what makes someone bad. Like, that's not what I'm here for. Like, I
Right.
love the hero and how he interacts with the heroine and how they interact, and the plot's just there to kind of put them in interesting situations. And I've talked with you about, I think, about this. Like, I hate it, and this especially happens with longer American television when characters start like mutating in order to make certain plots happen.
Yeah, I get annoyed with that shit.
I don't care when plots go crazy in order to make characters do certain things, because then I get to see characters doing certain interesting things. As long as they're still behaving roughly within character, it's fine. As long as it kind of works with I don't want to see a K drama that has the same tone as True Detective, then have wacky humor. Like, it still has to be within the world building of that show for it to be that way.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with it. And it even makes me think of Kirby keeps mentioning Ally McBeal, which was a very popular 90s TV show. Do you remember it at all?
I know the name.
It made the dancing baby very famous. Like, there's a lot of that kind of irreverence and fun in these shows. Anyway, so I really like Kimchi Family. I'm rewatching. I rewatched Healer. I'm rewatching some other stuff. I just started Reply. I keep wanting to call it Reply All, and Kirby actually came up with a brilliant plot for a K drama called Reply All that I'm gonna get him to write. But I'm watching Reply 1988, and it's interesting because I'm a little tired of 80s nostalgia. This is actually a series of dramas that there's 1997, or like there's a few of them from different years. But there is an older brother and a younger sibling who are about the same age difference as me and our older brother, which is quite wide. You
Yeah.
don't come across that age difference without siblings in between very often.
Yeah.
And it's 88, so you wouldn't have been born yet. And there's something about seeing that on screen and knowing that we were within a few years age. You know, we were talking about it with Sound of Metal.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just kind of like seeing something like you on screen, and so
Yeah.
it's although the older brother is way sweeter to the younger sister than Simon was. But it made me nostalgic, and it made me think about Simon's best friend who passed away, our older brother's best friend who passed away a few years ago, and how sad that made me. And I mean, it's and oh, the other thing I was going to say about it that you and I talked about before we recorded was it is a drag that they have used so much pop culture references that if you're watching this show legally on any of the English places you can watch it legally, they have blurred out so much, and that's a little bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
Because I think that's interesting. Anyway, that is what I have to say. I'm going to continue to watch dramas, and I think I'm going to make you watch Pervert's Guide to Ideology because it is time.
All
and
right, it's
I
time.
will rewatch it with you.
Awesome. Yeah, I didn't actually rewatch Honeyland, but I seen it recently, and I had an off week.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I kind of want to rewatch this anyway. So, I mean, we could even try and watch together. We'll figure that out off air.
We'll figure that out off air. Okay, well, I guess I'll go over mine, and I should let you know my battery is running low, so we'll be quick on these, I guess.
You should really plug in before you start. That's what I do.
I should bring my charger, but it's anyways. Abira, Horror of the Deep from 1966 was this week's Godzilla movie. Abira, Horror of the Deep. What does that make you think of?
Big sea creatures.
Possibly.
I know what it is. You're gonna tell me, but
yes,
I think it's. Is it a creature that comes from the deep?
It's a lobster. I mean, hey, why not? That's a deep creature, more or less. And so it was fun. This one was a little different than the rest. It didn't take place in Japan, like it took place on some island somewhere. Some like, I don't remember. They invent islands, I think, for these Godzilla movies. And like Godzilla, because of where we left with him from the movie before, which I think was Invasion of the Astro Monster, if I'm getting it correct. Like, I'm not exactly sure why he ends up where, like, who cares? Whatever. It's just fun and silly. And like, a woman character shows up and then she's just like set dressing for the rest of the movie. And I'm like, this is problematic, but it's also Godzilla. So you know what? I'm going to give it a pass for now.
The past was problematic. It's just a thing.
It's just a thing. This is still the 60s. Japan has got problems just like the US does and any other place. But ultimately it was fun and I liked it. Was sillier maybe than even some of the other ones, but it didn't have as many small models and wasn't quite as together. Like, it doesn't need to be, I don't want it to be completely together as a Godzilla movie, but like a little more than I got in Abira, but it was still fun.
Yeah.
I rewatched Guardians of the Galaxy because Jill wanted to watch that and I was feeling sick, and that's probably my favorite Marvel movie, and it's one of the only ones that I think is particularly good, so that was fun. I watched The Illusionist, which was an unproduced Jacques Tati script, which means that it's more or less features, I think, Hulot, Hulot. I think that's the character from the Tati movies. I've only seen Playtime. I'm sorry, I don't know the rest of them. And it's an animated movie, The Illusionist, and it came out in 2010. It's very melancholic and and bittersweet, but I was also moved by it a little bit. And
it's the Triplets of Belleville people. It's
the same people who did Triplets of Belleville. I think it's the same director and same animation team. I'm not positive, but it looks really good. Like, there's like almost no dialogue again, and I really like that. And it's just kind of a sweet, sad movie, and I don't know, it got me. I've seen better stuff, and it's maybe there are maybe moments in there where I'm like, we're just doing the same thing over again, but good. I watched some short called Gigi from 9 to 5. I don't know why it was in my list. I don't know why I watched it. It's this like 7-minute musical, very low budget, but it's kind of amusing. Then I watched a bunch of animated films short films that you sent me, including one you didn't.
Well, you're running out of battery. Did you want to save this for later and actually have a segment on it?
Let's do a segment on it maybe next time.
I have
maybe
a pile. I have some I have a DVDs of Svankmajer shorts I didn't know I had, so I've got a pile for you. So let's schedule that and have a real conversation.
Yeah, we're gonna talk, just for those who if anybody watches this, we're gonna talk Svankmajer maybe, and you know,
Quay
brothers, and
maybe some Norman McLaren.
Yeah, and what was it, Jiri Trunka? Is
Yeah.
that the hand? Yeah. Anyway, so we'll do that next time. What am I watching this week? We're watching probably 2-ish new movies again. We're doing Pervert's Guide, like you mentioned, but we're also doing probably Palm Springs.
And Ammonite, maybe?
And Ammonite, maybe. I might watch some other ones. I don't know. I'm probably going to watch another Godzilla movie, and there's some stuff on Criterion that I want to watch before it goes. I've been trying to get Jill to watch it, but also I've been off this week, and you know, that happens. So that's what I've got. That's it. That's all. We're done. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this. Goodbye, everybody.